Welcome to LOA Today. I'm Walt Thiessen here with Alex King. Today is Tuesday, October the 15th, 2019. It is 4 p.m. New York time. That's 1 p.m. in Los Angeles, 9 p.m. in London, 5 a.m. in Tokyo, and 6 a.m. in Sydney, Australia. But wherever you are in the world, thank you for joining us for another episode of LOA Today, your daily dose of happy. And Alex is just barely hooked in. I think we're about ready. Hooking it as I'm doing the promo. Not promo, but the intro announcement, but that's okay. We got it.
Yeah.
So, how's it going?
Here. I'm ready.
We didn't even have a chance to talk before we got going here.
We didn't. I was late today.
Well, fair is fair, because after my podcast yesterday with Louis D'Souza, I was late for the recording session for The Grass is Greener, so fair is fair.
Facts.
Right? Although I haven't had a lot of chance to go through what we did yesterday. I've been kind of, spending 5 minutes here, 5 minutes there, kind of taking a look. And the good news is I think we actually got all the recording done, but I have to go through and do a step-by-step and make sure we got everything right. But if the recording
I'm pretty sure we did.
Yeah, if the recording is all done, then that means it's on me to start, putting it all together, mashing it all up, making it sound like something, right?
Get all the sound effects and all the,
So
sounds like
you
got work to do.
Yeah, well, I got plenty, no doubt about it. And I'm glad I'm getting everything else caught up so I can do that. Interesting thing,
Right.
I was telling a Law of Attraction story to Louis yesterday, and I've got another one to tell today.
Okay.
Louise and I recently upgraded our phones by our standards rather than by typical standards. Most people upgrade to a new phone. We upgrade to a phone that's 5 years old, but for us, that's an upgrade.
If it's new to you. That's all that matters.
That's right, yes. But that meant we had some really, really old iPhone 4Ss. These are like the original iPhones from way, way back. And I didn't want to just throw them out. I mean, I wanted to put them into somebody else's hands. And I know that even though here in the U.S., those are old 3G network phones. So all the networks in the U.S. are now upgrading to 4 and 5G. So 3G is kind of going away here, but it's in use around the world. So I figured, maybe I can get $20 or something to sell it to somebody else.
Okay.
And I ended up putting up an auction and had a number of people bidding on it. Got a sale. Sent the phone off and said, great, okay, that's good. And I sent Louise's phone off and my sister's. I mean, got them all sold off. Everything was great until I got a message back from the person who I'd sold my phone to saying, well, this phone's locked. I said, well, I knew it wasn't locked. I was 100% sure it wasn't. So I said, well, it's really not. What makes you think so? And we went through this whole long thing. Mm-hmm. Long story short, he was planning to use it in he or she. I don't even know if it's a he or she. The name is kind of gender neutral.
Right.
But he or she was planning to use it in Trinidad, which has a 3G network.
Right.
And apparently when they tried to use it there, they got a message saying that the phone was locked.
Right.
So I did a little research by contacting Apple, and I also contacted my old carrier to make sure that it wasn't locked there and so forth, and found that it was locked to a company now based in Tokyo, Japan.
Weird.
Yeah. I mean, I had unlocked it here in the U.S., and now it was locked in Tokyo. So I said, well, what's that all about? It took me quite some time to figure out. I finally realized that there's actually a business relationship between the carrier in Trinidad and the company in Japan. They have a roaming relationship.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So I said, well, you basically have this problem because the carrier you hooked into has locked it to their roaming partner.
Right.
And he says, well, this phone's no good to me. I want to return it. And
but
so
it's not the phone's fault.
It's not my fault, not the phone's fault. So I contacted eBay about it, and they said, well, strictly speaking, this is the long story short, so this is the very short version of it. Strictly speaking, you didn't do anything wrong, but you are supposed to return the phone. If they ask for return, you're supposed to give them a return. I said, so I have to pay for shipping to return a phone that I did nothing wrong on? They said, well, when they send the phone back, contact us and we'll refund you the shipping.
Okay.
I said, well, all right. Not realizing, I didn't really think it carefully through and realize they were sending me back a locked phone that I couldn't do much with. But nevertheless, I said, okay, all right, I agreed to that. And so I sent up the shipping label. Now, the shipping, this had actually shipped to an address in Brooklyn, New York. I wasn't originally shipping this to Trinidad.
Right.
But I'm shipping it to Brooklyn. And so, of course, the return shipping label goes to Brooklyn. Well, this guy was actually, or woman, this person was actually from Trinidad and had been in the U.S. and had returned to Trinidad. And now they wanted to return it from Trinidad at shipping prices from Trinidad.
Oh, jeez. This is too much.
I mean, and I'm sitting here saying, okay, so how do I feel about this?
All right.
I give myself credit. I wasn't freaking out. I knew, right for wrong, so to speak. I knew this is not something eBay was going to allow. They just
right.
This was a user who really didn't know what they were doing. Mm-hmm. So I contacted eBay just to make sure, and they said, "Oh yeah, you've done everything right, no problem." And if they don't get the phone back to you in 5 business days, then their case is canceled. You keep the money, and we're done.
Okay.
And so that's where it stands right now. And so I sent a note to them saying, I suggest you contact eBay because they're telling me I did everything right. And so now I feel sorry for the person in one sense because they really set themselves up. They didn't know what they were doing. They made a really dumb decision to buy in the U.S., take it to Trinidad, and expect to be able to ship it back from Trinidad.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what was going on in their minds with that one. They basically set themselves up through their own ignorance. And on one hand, I feel bad, but on the other hand, they're the ones who attracted it, not me.
Not my phone, not my problem.
I didn't do this. All I did was sell a phone on eBay.
Yeah.
And I mentioned all this because it's one of those things that can pop up in life where you get thrown a curveball, right? Mm-hmm. Now, I could have gone off the deep end on this one because I didn't do anything wrong.
Right.
I did everything according to the rules, exactly what you're supposed to do, and I was the one who it looked like was going to get left holding the bag. But because I didn't get upset about it, I mean, I stood my ground. I contacted eBay about stuff and so forth, but I just kept low-key. I kept into a place of, this is all going to work out. I don't know how it's going to work out. It doesn't make any sense to me. None of this makes any sense, but somehow this is all going to work out. And lo and behold, it's all working out. So
that's how I live my life. Everything works out for me.
Proof positive. It does. You don't have to get all upset about what's going on. You can just say, okay, well, this is all going to work out. I'll just keep taking the steps I'm supposed to take, and 5 days from now, I'll have the end of the story. But I think I know where it's going to end because unless he's willing to, buy a plane ticket back to the U.S. to ship it from Brooklyn to save $20, I mean, I don't really see it happening.
I'm pretty sure the story ends here.
I think so. Yeah. So,
oh, my God.
Isn't it interesting, though, how... I mean, we often think about the law of attraction in terms of how it interacts with us. Mm-hmm. But this really illustrates how everybody is attracting.
Yep.
Everybody involved in the storyline, so to speak, is attracting. Different stuff, but in the same play. Kind of like our audio play, right?
Right.
Yeah. It's a reminder that it's all... First of all, the law of attraction is always operating. And second of all... Everybody is attracting different stuff for different reasons in different ways in the same situation.
Yeah.
And getting different results.
Which just goes to show how you cannot affect someone else's manifestations.
Well, you can't. You can affect them. You can't control them.
Okay. Good point.
Yes. Because I mean, I really do hope that something's going to work out well for this person so that maybe they learn something out of it. Maybe, somehow they can actually realize that the phone I sent them was a good phone. Maybe they can actually contact their courier and say, well, how do I get this phone to work? Oh, well, all you have to do is this, and this.
Exactly.
Oh, I wish I knew that.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm hoping for. I'm hoping that it all turns out so that everybody gets a benefit out of it. Because that's really what I want.
Well, well wishes and fingers crossed.
Yeah, absolutely. So there's my manifestation story for the day.
Okay. It was a good one.
Thank you. Yeah. It's also a reminder, too, manifestation stories don't have to be about how a jag appeared out of nowhere in your driveway. It can be simple stuff, right? It's
a little thing sometimes.
Although Louis did attract a jag. I'm like kind of blown away by that. He actually attracted a jaguar.
Little bit.
That was pretty good.
Although my mom's been attracting Mercedes all her life, so I'm not even like...
Is that right?
That's just how it is.
Well, you actually mentioned on Facebook that we have a 1-year anniversary because we hooked up a year ago to start doing the show.
Yeah.
And, that's pretty cool stuff. So congratulations, first of all, on being with me for a year on the podcast.
No, congratulations for you sticking with me for a year.
Well, either way,
I'm a lot more challenging than you are.
Oh, you're not high maintenance at all, believe me. I know what high maintenance is. This isn't it. But it also, this situation with the Jag reminded me of something, too, because just before you came on board, I had another co-host who had been with me for about 8 or 9 months, and she had done all of the afternoon podcasts with me, Monday through Friday.
Okay.
And then she had other things she needed to go on to. Her name's Wendy Dillard. And Wendy had told me a story about how she had not only attracted a Jag into her life, but she had attracted 2 of them. One for her husband, and one for herself. So it was
matching
his
set,
and her
you might as well.
Right.
Excuse me. His and her Jags.
So I'm wondering what it is about me attracting co-hosts who are into attracting Jags. I haven't figured that one out yet. But, something going on there.
Maybe you're next.
I don't want a Jag. I mean,
I don't want one either. I don't like them. They are.
They're really nice cars, but it's just not what I want.
Are they, though? I don't know. I feel like they're overrated. I feel like a lot of expensive cars are overrated.
Well, I mean, in one sense, they're all overrated. I mean, every single car on the planet is overrated.
Well, yeah, but we need them.
Yeah. And in another sense, they're all really, really useful.
Yeah. Getting us from point A to point B and such.
I like that kind of thing. Yeah, that's useful.
Yeah.
Well, hey, the lease is running out on the car that I have right now. It's going to be out, I think, the first week in January.
Ooh, what are we getting?
I don't know. I may actually not get anything for a few months and just kind of look around because we got Louise's car, so it's not like we're.
Oh, okay, yeah.
We got her van that we use for the gardening business, but I don't know. Maybe I'll just see what the universe has in mind.
There you go.
Give it a shot.
Make it happen, Captain.
Yeah. So I asked you before we got going what kind of a topic you had in mind, because I know you always have one.
I do. I come prepared.
Sometimes you're making it up at the last minute, but you always have one.
No, all the time I'm making up at the last minute.
Oh, I'm sorry. Correction. Okay.
As soon as my alarm goes off at 3:44 to let me know that I need to be getting ready for the podcast, because I love my numbers to repeat. Yes. At 3:44, I'm like, ooh, what am I talking about today?
Mm-hmm.
And then probably about 5 minutes later, by 3:55, I have it.
So our phones are going off a minute apart because I have mine set to 3:45. So there you go.
Oh, okay. That works.
So what'd you come up with? What's your idea for a topic today?
What was it? Retrospection and reflection.
Retrospection and reflection.
Due to the fact that it is our 1-year anniversary.
So
let's
looking back.
reflect on the last year. Yes.
Okay. It has been an eventful year.
Facts.
Right?
Quite the whirlwind, yes.
I mean, how many different co-hosts of mine have you also worked with? I mean, you've been with quite a few.
Yeah.
Doing the shows with me. I mean, there was Carlos.
Yep.
There was Bill. You did done some with Joel. Who else has been on that list?
Tom.
Oh, Tom. That's right.
Yep.
You were doing it with Tom Wells for a bit.
And then there was what was that lady's name?
I don't know which one.
She was blonde. She was from the UK.
Oh, yes. Yes. This is terrible.
I know, right? Brain fart.
She wasn't on the show all that long, and that's why.
No, it was like a month, maybe.
Yeah, and she was great. I loved her, but she just needed to go do other things. Well, I'll remember her name later on in the show, and I'll bring it in.
Was it like Susan or Patty?
No. It was If I perseverate like that, I'll just not think of it. So just let it go for a little bit.
Yeah, let it marinate. We'll figure it out.
But it's true that there's been a lot that's happened. It's been eventful in so many different ways. It's been kind of fun, too. One of the things that I like is not only kind of keeping track of my own progress and what kind of growth I'm going through, but also what's going on with my co-hosts. So I've been...
Right.
Among others, I've been watching the growth you've gone through and the changes you've gone through and so forth. And it's fun.
Yeah, it is.
Not the least of which are the hair changes and the unicorn headphones.
We've definitely upgraded the headphone game over the year. Yeah.
But what do you look back on and say, this is the coolest thing that happened, or the 3 coolest things or something?
I was thinking about it this morning, and I'm like, because my birthday's in 2 days, also on a podcast.
Happy birthday in advance.
Thank you. But I'm also thinking of, what have I accomplished in the last year? How have I grown? I do this every year.
Mm-hmm.
And I think personality-wise, I've definitely grown. And as far as my introversion has, I'm not going to say changed, but definitely, what's the word I'm looking for?
Evolved?
Okay, yes, evolved, yes.
Okay.
Because, I mean, as far as I can evolve to actually not physically going outside. So...
And I have to admit, you have the most unusual form of introversion I have ever seen.
Yeah, I know, right?
Because I was more of a classic introvert.
Right.
Years back. I was, I just didn't talk to anybody.
Mm-hmm.
But I was out and about, refusing to talk to anybody. You weren't even talking to anybody because you weren't even out there.
Well, I was online, but other than that, not really, no.
Online, yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
But you've also had, like you said, you've had some progress there. When Louise and I visited you on the Cape this past summer, you went out to dinner with us.
I did.
It was fun.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And you've been out a few times since then. And I'm guessing because you haven't brought it up, no panic attacks, no craziness going on. You've been able to get out there and have a good time.
I have. I just don't bring it up because it's pointless. They're going to happen. So bringing it up every 5 seconds is not worth the stress.
Every 5 seconds? Wow, that many?
Not literally, but it's like, it gets to a point where it's like, Mom, panic attack, Mom, panic attack, Mom, panic attack. It's enough. Like, they happen.
Okay, well then let me turn the question around. Have there been any good, besides the time that you and I and Louise went out to lunch together, have there been any other good adventures going on? I know there was at least one because you told me about it, but...
Let me see. I mean, all my adventures are good. They just come with consequences.
Girl, you gotta change that mindset.
I mean, it happens though. I don't know. I'm not gonna say it's a consequence. It's just stipulations, maybe. I'll say that.
It's kind of like the person who says, "Yes, I'm going to go out and have fun, but I'm waiting for the other shoe to drop."
Yeah, I'm definitely the other shoe type of person. Yeah.
Whoa.
I try not to be like I've grown in that way this time of year. With I think it was like 2 relationships ago, I was like, oh, this guy's perfect. Well, where's the other shoe? And then my cousin told me,
and the universe had to deliver it. When you kept focusing on that, it had to say, oh, all right, your wish is my command. Here you go.
Exactly. So the next relationship, my cousin was like, why are you even looking for the other shoe?
Mm-hmm.
Just pretend it's a one-legged man and just leave it alone.
Except for that last part, listen to your cousin. I'd like to have a little word with your cousin, actually. But,
yeah, we're different, to say the least.
But he or she at least seems to understand law of attraction. Otherwise, they wouldn't have brought that up that way, I think.
He supports me.
Okay.
I don't know if... I don't know. He low-key does, but at the same time, like, he's not Jehovah's Witness. What's the other one? Seventh-day Adventist.
Oh, yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, hey, my ex-co-host and current sister-in-law and hopefully future sister-in-law, she was a Seventh-day Adventist, too.
Uh-huh.
I mean, she doesn't officially go with that sect anymore, but she's still a churchgoer. She's still sings in the choir and things like that.
With your brother, that's hilarious.
Oh yes, have you seen those images on Facebook when she posts them? I don't know if you've ever seen them.
No, I've only seen the images from your mom's funeral or memorial.
Right. Okay. Well, almost every week when they're there, and if my brother is singing in the choir, she'll take a photo or a video, and it's pretty wild because he's the only white face in the entire choir. So it kind of stands out. A
little bit.
The best part about my brother too is, unless you point it out to him, he won't notice it.
Well, yeah, good for him.
Yeah, I mean, it's just. Oh yeah, I guess that's true. That's his reaction.
Yeah.
Just hadn't even thought about it.
Good for him.
Yeah, well, it's the way to be.
Exactly.
It's fun.
Be oblivious to the nonsense.
It's funny to see the videos, see the stuff that they post, and know what's going on. You can practically see the other people in the background with their reactions. Yeah.
Oh, that would have been me. I would have been like, does he know that we know?
Yeah, that's right. Well, you don't want to do that around Alex. If you do that around Alex, she'll create a podcast about it. So you got to be careful.
Facts.
And speaking of which, that's something else that happened during our first year together. We created a new podcast.
We did.
Yeah.
We did.
And we're in the middle of creating episode 2, which is very, very cool.
Yep.
Still haven't done the big promotional campaign I want to do on it, but I think that's because I knew that after episode 1, there was going to be a bit of a delay. Not as much of a delay as there actually was. I didn't really anticipate that, but...
Yeah, I was looking at our post because I was like, I think I posted on the Grass Screener Instagram page, subscribe, that, we were releasing it today, and it was like July 17th. I was like, oh my God.
Yeah, 3
People
months
have been
ago.
like waiting, like, what's going to happen?
The people who are following that page have forgotten about it, and they're saying, what the hell is that?
Right? Like, now I got to rewatch the episode to figure out what happened. But that's okay. That's all right.
Yeah. No, it's all good. It's all good.
Yeah.
I love, too, the story that you shared about how, I think it was Richard, who plays Miguel in our series. I think it was his daughter, you said, was a big fan.
Oh, yeah.
of the show.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Navanish, my goddaughter. Yeah.
She's, 16? Is that what you said she was?
16 years old, yep.
Yeah. See, that's pretty good. I'm really pleased about that. If we can get a 16-year-old girl to notice that show through all the fog of stuff that's out there for teenagers to see, we're doing pretty good.
Exactly.
That's really very good. And to get a strong reaction, a positive reaction.
Oh, yeah. She was like, I love it. What's going to happen? I need to know.
Well, yeah, that's what we want. That's how you build a successful series. I love that.
Exactly. Yeah. And I checked today to see if she was following our page, and she is.
What's her name again?
Navanish.
Navanish. Okay. Well, we need about 100,000 more Navanishes.
Well, she's working on it because,
She is?
like I told you, in her school, they have a period just for podcasts.
Are you kidding?
I swear. She goes to an art school. So, yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. A class in podcasts. That's just mind-blowing.
Yeah, so they specifically, get to... I don't know if they personally just listen to their own favorite podcast while they're in that class, but, yeah, that's basically what they're doing. And then they can recommend it to their friends in the class, and I think she said to her teacher, oh, you got to listen to this.
Really?
And, yeah, so things should be happening.
Holy cow.
Yeah.
I'm still stuck on, they have a podcast class.
2019, man, 2019.
Podcasts were invented within the last 20 years, and now they have a class on it.
Yep. There's also, speaking of weird classes, there's also a college course. I forget which college it is. I feel like it's in Boston, though. Otherwise, I wouldn't have paid attention. A class on the Kardashians.
Oh, well, I can almost understand that one. Yeah. In fact, which one is it? Chloe who has the line of cosmetics? Which one?
Well, they all kind of do.
No, but there's the one who's the billionaire. She's the real.
Oh, Kylie. Yeah.
Kylie.
The youngest one. Yep.
Yeah. Kylie should have a class all by herself.
Just on business management alone.
Yeah.
And social media and all that stuff. Oh, yes. Yes, definitely.
Because as many have pointed out, certainly her name and her exposure on Keeping Up with the Kardashians gave her a big leg up. But
she took it and made it her own, yeah.
She basically leveraged that way beyond what her siblings or her parents or anybody have done. I mean, she took it way, way beyond. So
yeah.
That's a deliberate creator at her finest.
Facts. 21 years old and a billionaire. Yep.
And, yeah, they may all be passive-aggressive and kind of mixed up, but I got to give her credit for that one because that one's really good.
I think the Jenners, Kylie and not Caitlyn, obviously, she's weird. Not for the reason you think she is, but just in general as a weird person. Bruce Jenner was just a weird person.
I can't disagree with you. I mean, I grew up in the generation where he was the decathlon champion of the Olympics. And so we all knew him as that. And then to see this evolution, it's been, okay, well, that's interesting. Not what I expected at all.
Well, see, I didn't know him from the Olympics. I only knew him from Keeping Up with the Kardashians.
Oh, yeah.
And I was just like, this dude's mad weird. Like, does he even want to be here? Like, I don't know what he's on, other than being married to Kris Jenner. Like, what are you here for? And then we found out. I was like, oh, okay.
Like I said, I still have an image of him as Bruce Jenner way back waving the little American flag after he won the gold medal. That's what I remember in my head. I never followed the Kardashians. I was about no, actually I shouldn't. I don't think that's really healthy, but that's another story.
Sometimes you got to witness other people's drama to realize that you're okay.
Nah, I don't need that. I don't mind writing, fictional pieces for other people to do that, but I don't need to do that. That's no.
But it's also like it's grown a lot. It's definitely grown a lot as opposed to being all superficial. Now it's like, people.
It's only 98% superficial now?
Well, no, now it's, okay, they did just do an episode about what their outfits were for the Met Ball, but behind the scenes, they're still doing, how they're changing the world and stuff like that. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So they're doing their Prince William routine.
Okay. I mean, Kim's going to become a lawyer because of all the, because of Kanye's influence and being able to get someone out of prison, realizing she had that power and that on her platform made her want to go to law school. So,
okay,
and that's just one of them.
Well, there is a good side to that I'll kind of comment on and emphasize, which is it doesn't really matter how messed up you are. You can grow.
Yes. And I think that shows it perfectly. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'll give them lots of points for that one.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't mean I really want to watch the show still, but it's not like they're going to miss me.
Clearly they haven't. I mean, they've got billions of fans.
Yeah, it's not really.
They'll be all right.
You ask Chris about it, and she says, "Who?"
Right? Like, he's got a podcast. Am I on it? What's happening?
Am I on it? Right. Why haven't I been invited?
Right. It's like, we talked about you for 2 shows out of the entire year.
Meanwhile, Kylie's asking herself, well, wait a minute, I'm the one who's the billionaire. Why haven't they brought me on?
But she's such a low-key billionaire. Like, she's barely on the show. She only shows up for family events.
Yeah. But why haven't they had me on to LOA today? Is what I'm
We're probably going to get a bill from Chris. Going, listen, you brought my name up 3 times. You owe me money.
Royalty on it, right?
Yeah. Like, this isn't the happy birthday song. Calm down, Miss Jenner.
I always wondered how those fan websites got away with not being sued all the time because, I mean, they just abuse.
Oh, I know this. I know this because my friend asked me how, because I found some sneakers with like the supernatural faces on it, and I wanted them so bad. Mm-hmm. And he was like, oh, they're making so much money off of this merch. And I was like, actually, the only money they make off of merch is like actual supernatural merch. Like, these are other people doing, taking their faces and doing. He was like, how are they not suing them? And da-da-da-da-da. And he's very anal about things like that. And I'm like, dude, I don't know. It's not my job. I was like, they're too busy. They got other things to worry about than who's using their faces and not giving them money. Like, they're above that. So then I found out.
Plus, it's also very expensive. I mean, if you're going to sue somebody for like something like that, you better expect a pretty big haul when you win. Otherwise, it's
exactly.
Not worth going.
That's what I said. But he was like, They have lawyers that have nothing to do. I was like, you think they have nothing to do? These are superstars. Okay. All right. I'm sure they're busy. But anyways, so I found out that as long as you say, I do not own the rights to these pictures or I do not own the rights to these videos, you're golden.
Why is that?
I don't know. It's called the Freedom of Copyright Act, something like that.
Fair use?
Something like that, yeah. I don't know.
That's interesting because fair use is usually a non-commercial thing, so I'm wondering how they're getting around that and making it commercial.
All I know is I was watching a YouTube video about a fan theory on the final season of Supernatural. And at the end, he had to post, I do not own the video or I do not own the rights to these videos that I've been using.
It's interesting, too, because I've seen that on YouTube quite a bit. A lot of different channels posting like that. And
it's like that on not so much on Instagram because they promote other people's music, but like when you're on Facebook, if you have music in the background, they'll mute your whole video.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So you have to make sure you put in the comments or wherever, I do not own the rights to this music. and then that's the only way you'll get to hear sound in your video.
I'm going to have to look that one up just to see what the heck are these people thinking.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, I mean, well, the whole copyright thing's mixed up anyway. But
Yeah,
we're supposed to be doing a retrospective here. So,
well, we are retrospecting on copyright infringement and such.
I thought the rule with a retrospective is it has to be something that happened to you. We haven't done anything with copyright over the last year.
We have, but
What's
not
that?
really. We have been with the grass is greener. We had to work around that whole sound effects and all the music that we use. But we had to get the free website and all that stuff.
Yeah, but I didn't get around anything. I simply followed their licensing terms.
Well, yeah, but it had to do with copywriting, so it's in there somewhere.
Plus, I like giving credit.
I
think it's
know.
important to give credit.
I know. Yeah, we do give credit at the end of the episode. We say where we get our stuff from. Yeah.
In fact, the music, I'm really grateful to the people at, was it Purple Planet Music?
Yeah, Purple Planet. Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's some of the best royalty-free music that's out there, I think.
It really is, though. I was not expecting that from a free website.
Yeah, they're really good. So thank you very much, Purple Planet. We'll continue to play you up because you deserve it.
Facts.
I want to know. I think it's a she. I want to know who the person is who's behind it. The person who's doing all the recording. Yeah,
nice.
I think it's a she though, but I haven't found any information about him, so I don't know.
Maybe they want to stay in the shadows.
Apparently.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I guess given what goes on with invasion of privacy and so forth these days, but even so, I mean somebody who deserves some real credit.
Yeah. Some sort of accolades.
Because there's a lot of junk out there. There's a lot of musical junk, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of it's being sold. And there are a lot of people paying for real junk.
Yeah. Yeah.
So when somebody comes along who's actually making something that really sounds good,
yes,
gets your attention and makes you feel like, okay, the mood is being set. This is good.
And the options. There's so many options. Like, there's hundreds of pages. It's insane.
It's crazy.
I was like, all right, I've been on here 3 hours, and I'm like, I'm done.
And I think it's all the same composer.
Really? No, can't be.
I think it's a female. I don't remember why I thought it was a female. Something I saw somewhere when I was doing my initial research on them. I think it's a female, and I think this female is writing all of the music.
That's crazy.
Creating it all, yeah.
It makes sense to me. Or him, or them.
Because this, I mean, I don't know about you. From my perspective, there is a common signature to all the music. It all has the same signature is the best word I can think of. It doesn't sound the same.
Well, it depends on which category you're in, though.
I look at it even across the categories. I hear the same signature going on in all of them.
Okay.
Like it's the same person. It's somebody who has a very diverse taste, and has ability to write in a variety of genres. But I hear that same signature over and over again. That's what makes me think it's the same person.
Interesting.
Yeah. So,
good observation.
Yeah.
Because I didn't notice.
Well, I've got a music background, and
so do I.
I'm the sound engineer, and
Well, I'm a sound engineer. But listen, I was the best band camper that ever was.
I love it.
I went to band camp before it was cool, so.
You went to band camp before it was cool?
Yeah. I heard what I said.
Okay. Well, I think I'll just leave that one there.
Listen, band camp is a thing now, especially, after American Pie. That's when it became cool to go to band camp.
Why? What's the connection there? I'm not seeing a connection.
Oh, Walter. I need you to watch a movie or two. I really do.
Okay.
Okay, so in American Pie, there was a scene where Allison Hannigan was talking about she had a sexual experience, and it happened while she was at band camp.
Oh, well, all you had to say was that. Now I got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the whole line goes, well, when I was in band camp, or when I went to band camp, and then it continues on there, and then all these geeks with these experiences are talking about their band camp stories. So.
Yeah, I guess that would make band camp cool. That would, make sense.
All of a sudden, yeah. Everyone was trying to go to band camp after that.
Yeah. So, anyway, back to our retrospective. So, let's see, what else has happened during the past year? Well, besides the unicorn headphones. There's a whole storyline.
Oh, we started doing hashtags.
That's true. You brought me into the hashtag world. I'd been resisting that for literally over a decade.
You can't resist me, Walt. You just can't.
Well, I learned that pretty early. Otherwise, I wouldn't be here.
Facts. Yes, I resist change, but yet I change other people. So weird.
Well, or another way to put it is people change themselves because of your influence.
Isn't that the same thing?
Not really.
I feel like yours is just a long-winded way of saying what I just said.
No, mine's actually the more respectful way to say it.
All right. I'll give you that.
Yeah. It's basically saying we are all empowered to make whatever changes we want to, but we can also be influential to somebody else when they're making a change.
That's true.
Which is, I think it's the ideal way. I mean, well, we've talked many times about people who try to use the law of attraction to force an ex to come back to them, or force somebody to behave in a certain way, or force a parent to change their behavior, or whatever else.
How many times we talked about that this year?
Oh, jeez, yeah. But the fact is, that's a pretty miserable lifestyle.
It is, if that's all you're depending on.
You know? So, to me, that's the best argument that I know of against the idea that I can change somebody else. No, not only can't I change somebody, I don't want to. Well, because if I even attempt it, look what I end up as. I end up as one of those people.
Right. And that's a lot of power to put upon yourself, to think that you can just make your ex come back or whatever, what have you. I mean,
I think it's more a lot of power to give up.
Well, then it's like if they come back and they're worse off for, the relationship that happened before, it's like, okay, but you wanted this, so, I mean, who can you complain to now?
I would call that giving up power. And I think it's even more than that, because the moment that you're saying, I have to be able to force somebody,
right,
using this law of attraction tool that I just discovered, is the moment where you're saying, I don't trust anything. I don't like anything. I don't feel good about anything. And I certainly don't believe that just through feeling I can attract what I want. I have to force it.
Yeah.
Like, oh, God, wait, you're not getting this at all if you're thinking that.
It's like screwing a screw into wood. If you force it too much, the screw will become stripped. Yeah,
that's true. Yeah. Well, either that or else you'll rip the screw out of the wood and then it won't do you any good anyway because the wood won't hold it anymore.
Yeah, the wood's broken.
Yeah, that's it. So it's kind of pointless. So not only does it not work, it also is not a good idea.
No, it's not a good idea.
Yeah. Which, by the way, is actually kind of a theme that we're going to be playing up in our Grass is Greener podcast.
Ooh, factuals.
So, yeah.
I'm not going to spoil anything, but I'm just going to say yesterday. Did you get my hours for yesterday, by the way? I texted you.
I don't know if I got the text. I did. I added in hours for everybody, but I don't remember seeing the text.
No. Before we went on the podcast, I texted you that I was working on episode 3.
Oh, no, I didn't see that. Oh, yep, there it is. Okay.
I didn't get your little white thumbs up, so I didn't. I was like, no.
I'm glad you mentioned it. No, I didn't. So I will make sure that I put that in.
Okay.
I'll give you credit for that.
Yes, not to spoil anything, but I'm working on the flashback scene that we discussed.
Ah. Okay.
It's a lot funner and juicier and hard to do than I thought.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Because you don't want to go on and on about it.
Right.
You want to make the funny part, I guess you could call it. You want to make it happen quickly.
Right.
But you're right. It's not easy.
It's not. And then I'm like, I don't want to add more characters, but that's okay. I figured it out.
Well, we have to add more characters. They're not going to be permanent. They're like one.
No, they're minor characters. It's fine. And somebody else from another episode is going to do this character. It'll be fine.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm thinking Ron's wife could play this part.
Okay.
Because she was such a minor character, people aren't going to notice. Well, they will if they listen to this. But
well, there was the other role too that. I'm referring to which role I'm referring to, and I'm still determined. I'm going to see if I can do that particular voice. If I can do that particular voice, I'll let you know.
I was telling my mom about it. She was dying laughing. She was like, I would pay to see Walt do that. I was like, you can at patreon.com.
Oh, I love it. That's funny. I want to pay to see me do it, too. I'm not sure if I can do it, but I figure...
You can do anything you put your mind to.
That's true. Anybody
even if you just get close enough that people are like, is that okay?
It just has to be convincing enough.
That's all it needs to be.
Because the person we're talking about is pretty famous, so it's
right.
not like anybody's going to have a hard time knowing who it is I'm trying to do this impression of.
Right.
Yeah. So it just has to be close. If I can
just by the line alone, you'll know who it is. If you're caught up on current events.
Now I got to look. I got to look at the script that you're writing to see which line you have in mind, because I can think of a few possibilities.
Oh no, he's not in this episode.
No. In the next episode, the one that you're writing this.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. That's what I'm saying. Episode 3, it's not in this.
Oh,
episode.
It's not part of that scene.
No.
Oh, well then why am I trying to learn the role?
Well, it's coming up in the season, so I'm giving you time to practice.
Oh, okay. So in other words, maybe like do a rewrite or something if I can get it to work.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, no, that's a little incentive. I can go for that. First things first. I gotta put together episode 2, so we have an actual episode.
Yes. Let's get
priority.
That. Another goal that you could have, since we're not going to make it for my birthday. Richie's birthday is the 23rd.
Oh, jeez.
Just giving you a deadline, you know.
I can tell you that the way I work, I've never really worked well to deadline.
I love deadlines.
I can hit a deadline,
yeah,
but I don't do my best work that way.
Well, yeah, because it's pressure. But I work well under pressure, so that's why I like it.
It isn't that it's pressure. Well, I guess pressure is part of it, yeah. But it's more that it takes the interest out of it for me.
Really?
Yeah, now I'm not doing it because I love doing the thing. Now I'm doing it because somebody wants me to do it by a particular date. It's like a deflated football. It's just not fun anymore.
Deflategate.
Deflategate, yeah. It's just it just takes it leaves a bad taste in my mouth.
I was going to say it takes the taste out of your mouth, doesn't it?
Takes the taste out. Yeah, it really
does.
Yeah.
I get it.
So, I mean, not that I can live that way forever if we're going to build this podcast up, because eventually we will have to hit a schedule. Mm-hmm. I just want to get it to the point where hitting that schedule is going to be easy, so I don't have to think about the deadline.
Well, yeah, because along with the pressure, there's a lot of frustration that goes along with pressure. So you don't want to be sitting there like, oh, we got to get this done, hurry up. Like, no, we don't want all that. So.
And it really can undermine your love for the thing that you're doing.
Yeah, definitely. Now it's like, I don't even want to do it anymore because it's like, it's so frustrating. It's not fun anymore.
Exactly.
You don't want to suck the fun out of life.
Yeah. So, for people who are wondering, when are you going to start putting out episodes on a regular basis? I guess our answer is, don't hold your breath. It's going to happen. Yeah. Just don't hold your breath.
I don't feel like we need to be on a regular basis. I like being sporadic and be like surprise, there's an episode. It's like how they do it on Netflix. They don't tell you that the new season's coming out. They just say, oh, it's here and it started at midnight. You're already late.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, they have a few things they need to learn about promo, but that's interesting.
Well, they still promo it, but it's like it's basically the internet streaming, so it's there forever. So they don't have the pressure of, oh, you got to watch this episode now. No, the whole season's there for you to watch at your leisure. So.
Yeah, but they seem to have forgotten about the power of the premiere.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah,
that's true.
Because there's a whole thing with that.
There definitely is.
You get a large enough following, a premiere. I mean, you can have people in fancy dress and ball gowns walking on a red carpet because you've got such a good premiere going. And
that's what I should have worn for the premiere. I was in t-shirt and leggings as per usual, but
Well, you got the blonde hair now, so you're halfway there.
I know, quite glamorous. I think I'm keeping this color for a while.
Are you really?
I think so. I decided that today. Yep, me and Rusty, we're twinsies.
Okay. It's a good look for you. I like it.
Thank you. I like it too.
It's a good look.
It fits my winter color.
And I have to say, it works nicely with the purple theme that you do.
Oh, true. It
does.
It does balance out. Yeah.
Yeah, the blondish gold and purple. That's a nice combination. Well, those are regal colors.
They are. They are.
When it really comes down to it. So.
Yep.
Stay regal. Why not?
All right. Stay regal.
Hashtag stay regal. I love it. All right. So let's see. What else can we flash back on in the last year? What else has been cool? What else?
Let's see.
Well, I know one thing. We got to meet. This is the first time, you and me, that was the first time that I met a co-host.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'd never done that before.
Wait, isn't...
Well, except for my sister-in-law. No, obviously I've seen her,
count. But I swore there was one of your other co-hosts are in Connecticut.
Well, my wife.
Well, duh.
She's the first co-host.
She's in the next room, so that's not hard. No. Who was I talking to the other day?
I don't know who you're thinking of.
No, you know what? I think it was Paulette, the Facebook dating lady.
Oh, yeah. She's actually, I think she's currently in New York. I think she's in Brooklyn, but close to New York. Linda Armstrong is in New York, near the New Jersey line.
Or maybe it's one of our cast members. Somebody is near you.
One of our cast members?
Yeah. I can't think. Because the only person's address I can remember is Carissa's, because
she's in New York, so no, it's
pretty
close. I don't know. Now you got me wondering. Now we should go through the cast list and
somebody
see
we
what
know.
their addresses are.
Somebody we know that we've both spoken to is also in New England, and I just can't picture who it is. Oh,
It'll come to you. It'll come to you. Just leave it alone.
That's the second person I can't remember today. I need some ginkgo biloba in my life.
Some what?
Ginkgo biloba.
I don't even know what that is.
It's an herb for memory.
But you forgot to take it?
No, I just never took it.
No.
It was one of those things that was like real famous back in like the early 2000s. It was like, Dr. Oz says you should take this because it's good for memory. And I'm like, how do you know?
That for me is the first reason not to take something. If Dr. Oz says it,
hence
I'm done.
The reason I haven't taken it. But I always say it. I'm like, oh my God, I'm getting so old. I need some ginkgo biloba. Just because I love the name.
I can understand that. Yeah, that's a fun word to say. Yes. But, yeah.
PJ would know what it is.
She probably would.
Yep.
She could probably tell me,
where to get it, how much it is.
Yeah, the whole thing. And what not to take with it, because you also have to make sure you don't take this supplement with that supplement. And stuff.
Side effects. The worst.
Well, it has been eventful. It's been fun. It's been a good first year. It's kind of like a foundation that we built for future
it's quite
endeavor.
The sturdy basement.
Yeah. I was just putting together the numbers of listeners, because every month I track how many unique listeners were there and how many total listeners for the month and how many have we had since the beginning of time and what was the change from last month and so forth. And we have we had a period of time where we had about 2 years ago we had a big spike. Then that fell off and it's been kind of bouncing around, and now we're starting to do an upswerve again. But the cool thing is, I think it's last month we came within 3 or 4 of breaking the 500 unique listener level.
Look at us.
Now that's for all episodes. On average per episode, we're averaging about 325 to 350 per episode.
Wow.
Yeah.
I would like to take responsibility for a quarter of that, because every guy that I dated this year, I'm like, you have to listen to my podcast. So that's a lot of people.
How many people did you date this year?
I don't. My dating life has been quite eventful this year.
I guess.
Oh man.
Wow.
Even the ghosters. I'm like, that's the mainly first thing. They're like, what do you do for a living? I'm like, here's the link. So they may subscribe. They may not listen anymore, but they're still subscribed.
Well, they
forget
once.
To unsubscribe. Yeah, they did listen
true.
Once. That's all that matters. Yeah.
But I'm just watching it in terms of how many new people are checking us out every month, and it's about 200 new people a month who are checking us out. Some of them stick, a lot of them don't, but that's just par for the course with that.
Right.
And the overall number per month is growing, and I'm looking forward to the day when we're going to be averaging 4 figures.
Actually,
we're not that far away.
Speaking of which, a friend of mine who I want him to audition for one of the therapists in the podcast.
Oh, okay.
He was noticing, he was like, you know what? We have a lot of famous people in our class. And I was like, you're absolutely right. So he created a Facebook group just so we could all post our projects of like what we're doing and stuff like that. So it's like all the creative people of our class, which is a lot of people. Like there's one one of the kids we were in school with, he's a dancer on Dancing with the Stars.
Oh.
And there's another girl who's, a stunt double for Marvel.
Oh, no kidding. Wow.
And and another guy who some of you may have heard of, Sons of Serendip, because they were on America's Got Talent and came in second place the year that they were in.
Wow.
So, yeah. So people like that all went to class of 2002 with me.
I guess so, yeah.
Just saying.
Pretty good.
So, low-key famous over here. And so, we created a group so we could all post our projects. So people who aren't doing as spectacular as the people I just named, we can all support each other and get there and see what, keep in touch with everything everybody's doing.
Which is, ironically, that's what Facebook was built for.
Right.
Oh my God, it's being used for its original purpose.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Classmates keeping in touch with each other.
Yes.
What a concept.
Yeah, so I've been posting our stuff there. So, everybody's been subscribing and listening, hopefully. Okay. Hi, guys.
Fabulous. Well, thank you to Alex's 2002 graduating class. We appreciate you.
Blue Devils.
Your class, your school was the Blue Devils?
Blue Devils, yep.
My high school was the Blue Devils.
Shut up.
I'm not kidding.
Get out of town.
I am serious.
That's crazy. I was just wearing my Blue Devils band camp shirt, before I changed to come on here.
No, I have to be totally honest and say my high school doesn't actually exist anymore.
Oh, well, neither does my elementary school.
My high school got merged with the other high school in town, and they all became one school, and they have a new mascot now and all that, so the Blue Devils are no more. But they were the Blue Devils.
Well, that's
and in fact, we talk about claims to fame. Mm-hmm. My high school was the state basketball champions in roughly 1966, 67, 68, somewhere around there. I can't remember exactly what year it was. And one of the stars on the team. Mm-hmm. No, I'm sorry. He wasn't one of the stars. He was actually a coach. Well, I can't remember which it was. I think he was a coach. Uh-huh. Was Pat Riley.
I don't know who that is.
He was an NBA coach. He coached the Los Angeles Lakers. He coached Kobe Bryant and so forth. Yeah, so so we have a little bit of a claim to fame there, which is pretty cool.
Cool.
That was good. Yeah.
All right.
And we actually won a state championship. We beat one of the best teams.
Oh, you only won one? Because we win them all the time.
Excuse me. I mean,
we do it in sports and music, and what else do we do it in? Those are the main ones, actually. Yeah, but different kinds of sports. So it's like there's track and field, there's baseball and basketball and football. Football was the major one. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
See, well, I mean, we just weren't as well endowed as you guys were, I guess. But we had.
We're not well endowed.
But we're very proud of that victory because it was over a school from Manhattan that is one of the perennial powerhouses.
Ooh.
In high school basketball. We beat them the year that we won that state championship. So, I guess we really don't care about other schools that had, 1,000 championships. We had one really big one.
That's all that matters. As long as you get one and done, that's cool. There's plenty of people with one-hit wonders that are making history today.
And making good money doing it.
Facts.
That's right. Yeah. Some of them are zero-hit wonders, and they're still famous. Ozzy Osbourne comes to mind. I mean, he didn't have a single one in his life.
What? All right, what are we constituting as hits now? Because
that's what I'm saying. He never had a hit. But he's extremely successful. He had a hit show that he was on.
Yep, facts.
But he did it without actually having a hit song.
All right, I can give that to you. Okay.
I mean, I don't particularly like his music. They really weren't my style of band or anything. But I got to give credit where credit is due.
What's funny about credit with Ozzy Osbourne is somebody paired up with him recently. It's a younger star, and they were like, I don't know, this Ozzy Osbourne owes his new career to this guy, and we're like, are you serious right now? Kids today, Jesus, learn your history. Oh.
Yeah, well, that's actually some of the fallout that you get when you have so much information coming.
I guess
you can't keep track of it all.
Same thing happened in my Grey's Anatomy group. They were like, "Oh, I'm watching this show with my mom that she used to watch in the '80s called ER." I was like, "Oh, that hurts. That hurts on a level. Like that hurts so hard right here. Like on the eve of my 36th birthday, that hurts my heart." I was like, "'80s, really? Kids today? Oh, it was like 1994, guys."
I don't know what to say. All I can say is I've actually had heard of ER. I knew what that show was.
Yeah,
I can say that. Yeah, that's about it. Louise knows it all. She knows all the characters, but not me.
Yeah, because she's cool.
Well, I've never claimed to be cool.
That's a fact.
It's true. I've been told all my life I wasn't cool, so I said, "Oh, okay, I'll just embrace it."
Oh, no, you're cool in your own right.
I am cool within Maltesan coolness.
Ooh, okay. And that's all that matters.
That's all that counts.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, now it took me 45, 50 years to learn that.
But you got there.
But I got there. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a big deal.
So remember, people, you are all cool in your own way.
It is true.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody is. I mean, think about it. Let's go back to law of attraction for a second here.
Mm-hmm.
Every single one of us is an immensely successful attractor.
Yes.
We may not know exactly how we're doing it. We may be doing a lot of it subconsciously without even awareness of what's going on. But we've attracted everything into our lives. That's pretty damn good.
I attracted this pen that I found 2 seconds ago.
I attracted you to this podcast.
Facts.
And you attracted me as well.
I did.
That's pretty darn good.
Yeah.
You know, so, and I'm not even sure we were doing it consciously. Well, I was, kind of, because I needed to get co-hosts.
I mean, I was low key, I was, because I was like, I've been out of the comedy game for a while, and then your ad popped up, and I was like, well, this is an interesting twist of turns.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, all right, maybe I'll take a little look into this. Let's first make sure it's not a scam. And then I was like, all right, how much do I have to pay you?
Yeah, right.
For $9.99 per episode.
and I remember you asking that question, and I remember thinking to myself, why is it that more co-hosts or potential co-hosts have not asked me that question?
Right.
Because it's a great question.
It is.
You know, not that nobody has ever asked, because others have asked, but no, the majority haven't asked that. Interestingly enough.
See.
Yeah. So kudos to you for recognizing you got to be careful. You got to make sure you know what you're dealing with.
Yeah, when you're in the acting modeling world, there's a lot of that going around. Like, so, I can make your career, okay. And then they get to the part where, now, if you pay us $5,000 a month, and I'm like, okay, so you just get used to going, all right, how much is this going to cost me?
Well, plus you also have to pay attention to the fact that they didn't finish their sentence.
Right.
They said, I will make your career. Make it what?
Right. Facts.
They didn't really go into that at all. You know?
Yeah, because you got to listen to. It's like those stupid timeshare presentations. You got to listen to the whole thing before they give you the price, and then you can walk away.
Speaking of stuff that is annoying and spammy and things that you don't want, after we mentioned No More Robo, I started looking around at some of the other stuff out there, and there's one called Email. I don't know if you've ever seen that one.
I have Email.
You have Email? Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I signed up for that one, and it's actually been blocking calls that I didn't want. And I'm thinking, well, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Mine
notifies me every day. We blocked 12 calls today. Oh, thank you.
The only thing I need to do now is I need to find a setting that says, don't notify me when you block a call. Just block it.
I don't care. Just do your job.
Yeah, go away. I don't need your bragging.
Right.
The whole point is to not bring this stuff to my attention, not to bring it to my attention.
And then it's like, how much of this are you making up? Are you just saying that you blocked 12 calls today just to make me feel better?
Well, no, you can click through. You can see what the calls were.
Oh, see, I don't do all that. I just swipe.
I'm checking out the app, so I'm learning how the whole thing works.
Right.
But you can tap on. You can find out. I actually had 3 calls in a row on people trying to get me on student loans. You know.
Goddamn FAFSA. Sally Mae, never again.
The good news is I didn't have to take the calls. The bad news is I still knew about the calls. But we're getting there. Progress.
Yeah, one step at a time.
Well, this has been a fun retrospective, so thank you for bringing that up. Thank you for being a co-host for the last
you're welcome.
And thank you for being my substitute, too, because if somebody can't sit in for me, you're always there to just jump right on the bandwagon and say, okay, let's go. I love
just tell me the time. Same place.
You literally make my life easy when you do that.
Oh, thanks.
So that's why I want to publicly recognize. Like, thank you.
I am here to spread joy and make life easier for people.
And you're doing a great job.
Thank you.
Job, I have to say. So I'll be talking to you on Thursday. We're still waiting to see when Joel's going to be able to rejoin us. We don't have any clear answer on that one. But,
right.
Hopefully soon. And we may actually have Dan Mangana coming back to join us perhaps on Thursday. Mm-hmm. And so I've gotten like a tentative yes from him on that.
Okay.
And, I've also floated the idea to him about when Joel comes back, would he be interested in doing Tuesdays? And got kind of a maybe out of that. So we may be adding another co-host here pretty soon.
All right.
It's going to be good stuff. Anyone who didn't catch the episode last Wednesday with Dan, you want to tune in. The guy is amazing.
Yeah, scroll down.
Scroll down. There you go. That's right. Yeah. That would be 1, 2, 3 shows down. No, 4 shows down. There you go.
Yeah.
Anyway, all right. Well, thank you very much, and thank you to our live streamer Jeffrey, who was very, very quiet today. He didn't have anybody to talk to.
Oh, Jeffrey.
Other than to say, this one time at band camp. That was just one comment.
Thank you. That's the line. This one time at band camp. This one time at band camp.
So thank you, Jeffrey. Thank you to our podcast listeners as well. We'll see you all next time here on LOA Today. Goodbye, everybody.